Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start the topic of today, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that all out of the way, I hope everyone's day is going well and everyone's day is blessed. And I want to thank all of my new and long-time subscribers. Thank you for going on this journey with me and helping this channel grow. With that said, if you haven't subscribed yet and you find this content valuable, please subscribe. Because the more this channel grows, the easier it will be for those that need to find this information, to indeed be able to find it and get the help and answers they are looking for regarding toxic people. What it's like growing up in a toxic family, and just dealing with narcissists and other toxic individuals in general. So please subscribe and be a big part of this channel's growth. And when you do, don't forget to click the little bell to be notified each and every time I make a new video. And don't forget to like and share to let YouTube know this content is indeed important. With that said, on with the topic for today. The dysfunctional golden child is eventually discarded by society. You see, growing up in a home with narcissist parents or a parent, there are many different types of dynamics. Sometimes the golden child is out there working normal jobs like you and I. And sadly, they being toxic and or narcissists themselves, can cause all kinds of havoc in the various fields of life they partake in. But then there are those golden children that aren't as functional. And that's what we are talking about today. Now, what do I mean when I say not as functional or dysfunctional? You see, on this other dynamic, the narcissist parent or parents might treat this golden child like they are a literal child even when they become an adult. Let me refer to my golden child brother as an example. As I mentioned in the last couple of videos, my mother appeared to have a Munchausen syndrome problem along with her narcissism. And she tried this Munchausen syndrome by proxy thing on myself and my golden child brother. With me at least she wasn't very successful. And I will say, at least as a teenager she wasn't very successful with myself and my brother. It seemed kind of like a non-issue at that point. However, from years of self-neglect, at that time, my mother started to develop real deal serious health problems. Health problems she was warned by her doctors she needed to get a handle on. Namely, with regular exercise and adjustments to her diet. My mother continued on her journey as she pleased and her health over the years got worse. With that said, since I was the scapegoat, I was forced out of the house. 1, as a way to make me feel not loved. And 2, because I could see what was going on and my mother wanted to maintain and deepen her control over my brother. You see, in at least the dynamic I grew up in, my mother wanted my brother and I to literally have nothing to grab on in life. Any talent we had, there was no serious attempt to help us develop these talents. There was no thought put into our education and our ability to help ourselves once we turned 18. Basically, on purpose, our lives were sabotaged. This is also done to the scapegoat like myself with the hopes the scapegoat will come back home and accept the mistreatment given just to be a part of something. Because there is nothing available out there in life. Because the scapegoat child was ill-prepared to take on life. However, some of us scapegoats were blessed in the sense we never had to go back. And we were able to for good stay out of our family home of origin. Now, this doesn't mean we didn't and don't live very difficult lives as a result of our upbringing. As majority, if not 99% of us did and do. But if we were lucky enough to stay out of our home of origin, all of the attention or dysfunction is shifted towards the golden child. You see, my brother, like myself, his education was really sabotaged. He didn't know how to hold down a job. He has really bad reasoning skills. and very bad life coping skills along with the complex PTSD he was suffering with in regards to our upbringing. Though he was going down the path of narcissism, he was sabotaged from having and keeping real friends and or connections. And he was groomed to be a very strange person. So no one normal would want to be his friend. And I want to digress for a moment on this point. This is why I talk about doing the self-work with us scapegoats. Because though my brother is very strange, and it's pretty obvious to anyone that has a conversation with him, you and I, the scapegoats were groomed to have strange qualities about us as well. Yes. We may have functioned better in life. Yes. We look and carry ourselves in a very normal way. But sadly on the wrong times. These weird traits and quirks we developed that we didn't or don't even know we have in us. They come out. And these behaviors repel healthy well-adjusted people out and away from us. And if you do the self-work, you can start to spot these toxic traits you might carry, though you are a decent person that may have repelled some normal people from wanting to spend time with you. Well, I have news for you. These traits were groomed into you for a reason. You see, the narcissist parent or parents that are part of these dynamics that I'm talking about, they want such a control on their children. They will sometimes sabotage their children eating habits I've heard about in many cases, hoping their kids or kid gets overweight and develops all kinds of health problems so they will never leave. And the narcissist parent can feed on the narcissistic supply that is created by such a relationship with her kids. They will also just scramble up their kid's mind with lots of gaslighting and crazy talk, along with encouraging strange behaviors that they know most people will want nothing to do with. And sadly, this parent or parents that are doing this to their kids, it was done to them for the same reasons. And that reason is so no one will want to be around them when they were kids. It's a sick cycle. But one has to ask, what happens to these individuals when they grow up? Or their narcissist parent or parents pass away? Some that have the Munchausen issue now probably have a list of health problems and may have never worked a day in their life, with no real ability to do so. Some may be able to hold down a lower level job, which there's nothing wrong with a lower level job, as long as you are working. But after work, these individuals might sink deeper into very strange thinking. You see, I just watched a movie. It's called The Fanatic, with John Travolta. And it was a pretty good movie. No spoilers here. However, I will say, he plays this type of person I'm talking about extremely well. And though they don't dive too much into his upbringing, you do get to see one glimpse that you can tell he didn't grow up in a normal home, which more than likely turned him into the very strange individual that he became. You see some levels of narcissism in his character. On the one hand, he seems helpless and nice. Then on the other, you can see mean traits, and lots of anger, with a lack of empathy. You also see very strange personality tics and character traits. Some traits, not all, but some traits you might recognize as being a golden child brother or sister. You might check this movie out. Tell me what you think if you choose to watch it. But one has to ask, what happens to these people? And the sad reality is they get discarded by society. You know, I might sound like a broken record here, but we hear about how the courts are for the best interest of the child. And I can tell you firsthand, after my mother got custody of my brother and myself, it was like living in a very strange, painful setting to say the least. And no one from the courts checked in on myself and my brother. No one cared. No cares for my brother now he is the way he is. Because he's now an adult. Oh, your parent was a narcissist. Get it together. Figure it out. Yes. I have no contact with my brother. And my brother can't stand me and never wants to see me, as my mother trained him to be this way. But my brother is so dysfunctional he has nothing. And he's gone down this path starting as an adult of Munchausen syndrome to where he has developed real health problems, much like my mother when she was at his age and groomed by her mother. You see, society doesn't care to see what caused this man or woman to be like this. No one says how do we fix this from happening again and again. You see, there are many of these people that are on the fringe of our society. They don't really fit, so to speak. They are looked upon as strange. And to be honest, many of them do have strange off-putting behavior. And then one of them does something unspeakable. And if their parent or parents are still around, they say how they loved their baby and how they didn't raise them to be that way. Now, is there a chance there was a defect in this man or woman's brain from birth? Yes. But I think, and it's my humble opinion, in many of these cases, the parent had some sort of toxic problem. Or problems. And they did what I just described. And literally sabotaged their kids' lives with whatever means they had to do so. And this child grew up to become an adult and was basically thrown away by society. They were discarded. Poof. It's strange, right? The golden child pretty much grows up to be a narcissist themselves. And this narcissist gets discarded. But this is what happens. And one might say, well, who cares? Blah blah blah. Well, I'm here to say, though my brother can't stand me for no reason, and is a toxic individual, I know if my brother had a normal upbringing, he might have become a normal and decent human being. Yes. I got through it. And I praise the Most High every single day that I did. But I still think about my brother and pray for him at a distance. You see, most of these people on the fringe of our society more than likely grew up in a toxic home where their lives were purposely and systematically destroyed. They were purposely kept at a level of a child in their minds. And no one steps up and says anything. And then once this child is no longer a child, it's get it together. Figure it out. What's his or her problem? Why can't they do this or that? Then society just steps right past and over them, and that's it. The question is, what can be done? Well, as far as those roaming the streets right now that are more than likely narcissists or some other toxic person, I don't have an answer. But regarding preventing it, help fix the family court laws. Make it fair. Make it so it's not this parent winning over that parent. Or where child support isn't seen as this big windfall of money for the parent to support themselves with. Because like I said, narcissists hate fair. It's their kryptonite. If they aren't getting narcissistic supply from a relationship that includes even from their kids, they will abandon that relationship and move on. Yes. I know and understand that there are instances where both parents are narcissists that are set on sabotaging their kids' lives. However, there are many instances where it's one parent that is able to successfully smear the name of the other parent, gain control of their child as a result, erase the other parent from the child's life. And now they spend a lifetime with this child, literally sabotaging any chance this child might have at success. And when it's all said and done, and when they are eventually on their own, society will just discard them. Even more so, we the scapegoats have been discarded by society too. However, we have a way better chance at self-betterment and self-improvement. The golden children don't. So start thinking deep. When you see these movies like The Fanatic, ask yourself, what kind of mess did this man live through as a child to turn them into this? What kind of parent or parents did they have? What was going on there? And I think if more people started to think like that, you would see positive changes. But a great many people are stuck in one-dimensional thinking. Wow, they are crazy. Stay away from me. Oh. Okay. That makes sense. Healthy boundaries for sure. But when you walk away, and you are keeping your distance, ask yourself, how are these people being made in our society? And what's something that can be done to help out with this problem? You know, you hear this person talking about this problem in the world. And that person talking about that problem in the world. But what isn't addressed very often is the human condition. I will tell you this right now. If there was a serious, and I do mean serious, look and positive actions taken to fix the family court system, you would see a great many problems regarding the human condition resolve itself. Because again, there would be nothing for the narcissist to use in this system. Now again, would there be narcissists as both parents still trying to get narcissistic supply from their children? Yes. But what we are talking about here, which seems to be a pretty big number of one narcissist parent, and the other parent that is lied about, and their name is smeared, all to remove this parent from their children's life. If both parents have to prove themselves as parents, and both parents have to show responsibility in the child's life, you will see the narcissist parent show who they truly are, and they will abandon all dealings with their child. Because there is no narcissistic supply to be gotten, and there's nothing but hard work for the narcissist. And we know the narcissist can't stand hard work. And this is just enough for an innocent kid to have a normal life without the side effects of the narcissist parent sabotaging them. No matter if they end up a scapegoat like many of us, or a golden child. And sadly, if they end up being a golden child, the hope they can ever fix themselves once they become an adult is very slim. Because at that point, they are probably a full-blown narcissist or a variation of other toxic traits and problems. So next time you see such a person in either the movies or in society, ask yourself, what causes such a person to be what they are? Then ask yourself, what kind of home were they brought up in? And then ask yourself, what if they were brought up in a normal home? What would their life be like then? Then ask yourself how this could all be achieved. And I think you will find out in most, not all, but in most cases it will all start with the family court system. And once that system is seriously looked at and fixed, I believe we would see the level of narcissism and other toxic disorders dramatically drop. But let me ask you, what do you think? Did I say anything that hit home for you? Did any of you see the movie I mentioned? If so, what was your opinion about the movie? I would like to know. Again, everyone, I thank you for your support. And don't forget, if you would like to support even further, you can do so by the way of Patreon. A link will be in the box below. And for those of you already supporting by the way of Patreon, I humbly say thank you. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.